Questions of the Holyoke Soldiers Home future raised in a Board of Trustees meeting last night. Board members proposed the facility may have outlived its useful purpose. Now, a former superintendent from the home is speaking out, fearing the home could be closed. Western Mass News reporter Audrey Russo joins us live in Holyoke with this exclusive interview. Audrey?
Former Superintendent Paul Barabani says fixing the overcrowding at the home doesn't require a reduction in capacity or another study. Barabani claims all it takes is an adjustment to a 2012 renovation plan he says was never funded by the state.
One could raise the question that the building is outlasted its legitimate viability.
A question raised by the Holyoke Soldiers Home Board of Trustees Chair Kevin Jourdain at Tuesday's virtual meeting. A question that former superintendent of the home, Paul Barabani, broke his months-long silence to answer.
I was absolutely shocked that they were unaware of this project's existence.
Barabani, who ran the home starting in 2011 and resigned late 2015, has stayed quiet on the COVID-19 outbreak at the facility. Nearly 80 veterans who died tested positive for the virus. PPE shortages, crowded rooms, and short staffing have been blamed for the virus's spread. Barabani, countering Jourdain's question on the building's viability, says a 2012 project he worked to develop could fix those problems.
It called for the construction of a 5-floor new building which would house 120 private rooms for the veterans.
Barabani claims the plan was approved by the Department of Veterans Affairs. He says if the state would commit funding to the project, the VA will still help with the rest.
And the funding still exists with the VA federal government picking up 65% of the cost.
It was a project Barabani says he pushed for during his time as superintendent. However, he claims state officials with the Department of Veterans Services pushed back, and the state funding was never committed during his tenure.
I was given pretty explicit guidance that we didn't want to talk about new construction.
Western Mass News found several documents through the years of Barabani's pushing, studies, and recommendations the home be renovated, even as the Chelsea Soldiers Home was approved for a near $200 million renovation in 2017. Barabani says Holyoke was just promised another study.
Apparently ours was put on a shelf.
Barabani says the 2012 renovation project could still be approved this year if the 2012 price tag of $160 million was adjusted for inflation. But he says the state needs to act fast in committing the 35% of the funding.
If we don't meet the 1st of August deadline, then it's another full fiscal year that we'd have to wait. So that's too much delay. We need to take immediate action.
For a man who stayed quiet throughout the last few months as COVID-19 ravaged the inside of the facility's walls, Barabani wants the veterans to know just because he was quiet doesn't mean he was idle.
Just let them know that I'm still fighting the battle, for them and for future generations of veterans.
I asked Barabani about the state's recent proposal, $2 million proposal, to decrease 50 beds as a capacity in the building and to improve infection control measures within it. He said that doesn't address the needs of the veterans in the community and in the facility. And in his words, he said it was like putting lipstick on a pig. Live in Holyoke, Audrey Russo for Western Mass News.